Hi, I'm Chris, and this is Chris Builds. And today on Tangent Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about the Joker Manor. It retailed for $270 in the US when it was available. This is a retired set. It had 3,444 pieces, so it averaged to about 8 cents a brick when it was new, which was pretty good. I think that's a pretty good deal. It had 10 minifigs, which was not too shabby. And this was from when the Batman Lego movie was out. So not intentionally spoilers on this, but there may be just FYI. I don't want to get someone mad at me. I did like the Batman Lego movie. I thought it was funny and kind of charming, but I don't think it got good reviews and was popular when it came out. But this is when the Joker takes over Wayne Manor, and it is very fun and very colorful. So this one, it says that has an open back. It does have a roller coaster track that runs all the way around. I like all the little funny details they put in all throughout. I love the kitchen and the little spilled cup of coffee. I thought that was kind of adorable. Up in like the attic, there is like some boxes labeled Wild Style from back in the Lego movie when Batman and Wild Style had been like a couple. So I thought that was kind of like a good little throwback Easter egg. It has a trap door up top. A little slide. I love the piano build. I thought that was really nice. And inside here, there's like a hall of mirrors. So it has a very like funhouse build. So even if you aren't a big fan of Batman, I think it kind of works in like the amusement park setting as a type of funhouse type of situation, which is where I keep mine normally in my Lego town. I even love the architecture of just the Wayne Manor itself. I thought it was very well done. I love all the bright colors and all the contrast. I love the Joker space build. It does have these like little punching bag arm things, which is like a play feature, but I did find them very hard to operate. So I never mess with them too much. I think that's my biggest complaint about the set is that's something I didn't really care for. But I thought it was very fun, very eye-catching, and definitely a great piece to add to your collection if you're able to find it at a reasonable price. So today for Tangent Tuesday, I'd like to talk with the DC Cinematic Universe, DC Comics, and the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. So there will be spoilers ahead. You've been warned. So the Snyder Cut, first off, I'd like to say I think it worked. It made enough sense that we were able to follow it. It was a pretty decent, cohesive storyline. I did think it could have been edited down. It did have some superfluous scenes in it that were not necessarily to the storytelling. That could have been edited out to make it a more condensed story overall. But compared to the original Justice League, which I'm going to be honest, and I apologize if you were a fan, I thought it was unwatchable. Like, I just was not into it at all. So I do think that, comparatively speaking, a much better film. Like, I would tell people to go watch it. You know, yeah, it's kind of long. Take a break in between. You go halfway through, but it's pretty decent. What could have been better for the DC Cinematic Universe would have been planning. I think that overall, there was a lot of not well done planning. Versus the Marvel universe, where they made sure they had their origin movies come out. We knew the characters were, the storytelling was kind of good and solid over the characterization of the characters. Versus DC, they just didn't seem to care. It was just all over the place. And I think some of the characters have been mishandled. So I felt that, I don't like this current Superman. He doesn't seem quite nice enough. Like, my expectations of Superman, and he is this like Eagle Scout, super nice, kind of naive farm boy. You know, he's supposed to be this like over the top good guy, and I didn't feel like he was quite delivering that. At least not for me. Amy Adams was delivering that, and I didn't think she should have been. Like, she seemed way too nice and way too kind to be Lois Lane. So my take on Lois Lane is that she is this career-driven woman. She's an investigative journalist. She's from the city. She is very, kind of tough, maybe a little jaded. And whereas Amy Adams is very sweet. She's totes adorbs. Loved her in the Muppet movie. Loved her in Miss Piggy Singing Me Party. Thought it was great. Did not care for her as Lois Lane. She just isn't quite working for me. I also am not a huge fan of the current Alfred. I liked the Michael Caine Alfred. I even like the Gotham Alfred better than this Alfred. I think Alfred's like this oddly important character, and I think if he gets off, everything else in the Batman universe also tends to get a little off. And he just wasn't working for him. He also seemed a little young. Just along with Ben Affleck, they just seem like they might be a little too close in age, but that might just be my perception on that one. I don't know if that's really a fair assessment or not. But that's my thoughts. I like Aquaman. I like Wonder Woman. I thought they did fine in the movie. I like The Flash, which I didn't think I was going to. So when they first introduced him, he didn't have that look that I would expect Barry Allen or even Wally West. I'm a big Wally West fan, probably more so than Barry Allen, but I thought that he delivered well. I think that he had that kind of that funny type of jokester attitude that I would want from The Flash. I think he delivered it and sold it. I would have liked to have had him have his own origin movie previous to this. I think that would have been nice. I also think that Cyborg definitely should have had his own origin movie previous to the Justice League. I think that A, we wouldn't have spent so much time on his origin. B, it would have let us really get to know the character. They could have really fleshed it out. There could have been a lot more tension and a lot more drama and a lot more just his whole overarching personality could have really been in there. And I felt that that would have been nice to really have gotten to know him, especially because he is such an awesome character in the comics. So I think that that was something that they kind of missed out on. Definitely a missed opportunity there. And I think that at this point, they're kind of in a place where it's hard to go forward because now things are in such a disarray with some of the characters that they kind of locked themselves in with. And it's hard to change one without changing them all because they've made them all in the same universe. And it does get very tricky. I'm not sure how they can really kind of dig themselves out of this one. I hope that they do manage to make it work. But I do see certain issues. Like, I don't like the Jared Leto Joker. He's definitely not been my favorite Joker. He just isn't really working for me from aesthetically or just delivering the type of madness I want from the Joker. It just isn't quite selling it. At this point, I'm like, maybe he should just do Mark Hamill up in some crazy Joker makeup. I mean, he was great in the animated series. So just give it a try. It could help. Anything. I had mixed with Harley Quinn, but now she has really kind of turned it around for me, especially after watching the animated series. So if you haven't seen the Harley Quinn animated series, I felt it was surprisingly good. I would like to see them do more with Wonder Woman. However, I am a little concerned after the 1984 Wonder Woman movie. I don't feel it really worked. I think the issue with the Wonder Woman 1984 movie is pretty much just they spent too much time on the antagonist. And he was not a character that I really wanted to watch that much of. That's not why I'm watching a Wonder Woman movie. But that's just me. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan, so I just was not feeling that at all. I just couldn't get behind that decision making. I did like her scene in the Snyder Cut with the terrorist. I thought that was super awesome. She was kicking some butt, which was nice to see. It went a little too far, the Flashpoint paradox situation with the alternative universe realities, etc. Because they haven't even gotten this one all squared away and organized. And I feel that we don't need alternative versions unless you can fix this one. Or is that the solution? Is just to go to an alternative? Because maybe that is a solution that might get us out of some of the mess that we're currently in with DC. And, I'm willing to give it a try. I'm open to new ideas. The other thing that I think I would say is that I didn't quite grasp the whole let's bring Superman back from the dead. Now I'm kind of wondering, what is Martian Manhunter doing this whole time? Because he's in the movie. We know he's around. And he has Superman-like powers. So he's a pretty heavy hitter in the DC universe. And he pretty much does nothing. Instead, we're bringing a guy back from the dead. And even that could have been a little more interesting because maybe they could have brought in maybe Zathara, or Constantine, like one of the more magic users, to somehow oversee it, because I really didn't grasp how we're making sure his soul is there. I did think it was very worrisome, and like, you bring people back from the dead, I just feel they can come back wrong very easily. And I don't feel that that was really sorted out in the movie in a way that I really understood. Like, I was like, okay, so somehow Superman's soul's tied to the mother boxes? And I just couldn't really get behind that either. Sorry. So one of the biggest issues is that they don't take the time to really flesh out a proper story. It all feels kind of oddly fanfiction-ish with how the characters are operating in the DC universe right now, versus feeling like it's really based on the comics. And I feel that they maybe need to take a moment and go back to those graphic novels, the really successful ones in particular, maybe pull some of those stories, maybe utilize the DC Direct, which I think has, like, the DC Direct animated movies have been great. I loved New Frontier. That was a fabulous one. There was a lot of really good ones they've released over the years. And I think that maybe cannibalizing them for a live action would not be such a bad idea. You just make a few small changes and readapt them for the big screen. I feel that there's a lot of potential there. I don't feel that you have to take it as far as they just seem to do with DC. It's kind of a bummer. And I am hoping that they turn this around, because I still love DC. It's, I'm a DC girl at heart. They have done some good stuff, though. I did like the Shazam movie. Again, I liked Aquaman. I liked the original Wonder Woman movie. But overall, I do think it's worth watching. I'm really hoping that DC can turn it around. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments on what you think it would take at this point. I think it's going to take a little bit of work. I'm Pris, and I built this.